Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into the world of real estate, a subject we cannot avoid in our day-to-day conversations. I'm thrilled to be joined by Praveen Reddy from Praveen Reddy Real Estate, a trusted real estate agent known for his expertise, client-first approach, and deep understanding of the property market. In this conversation, we'll explore his journey into real estate, some of the challenges he's faced, and the opportunities in today's market. Well, thanks for your time this afternoon, Praveen. We're here to celebrate the happy 1-year anniversary of Praveen Reddy Property and just ask you a few questions to celebrate the anniversary, starting with what brought you to real estate and what's your passion for it?
Well, property is always a passion. As you know, I started as an investor myself and, slowly entered into the property market, and then the more I helped myself, my friends buying properties, selling properties, and I thought, okay, one day, this 9 to 5 IT job, maybe I need to find something else where I can find more happiness, where I can make difference in people's life. And then I thought, okay, let's get into property consultation, not actually sales. So I started with a kind of career as a property consultation, helping families buying properties, buying investments, growing their portfolio, how to retire early, all those conversations, and then it eventually I moved into sales, and then I picked up first few sales, and I kind of did very good. And
got a bug for it?
Yep, and then I thought, why not we do the sales job, and then here I am today.
All right, so what was the passion on starting your own company?
It's just the freedom, and then your own company, your own freedom. You can run the way you want, within guidelines. And then, I want to grow my company into different suburbs and, create more sales.
So how did you secure your first listing as an independent agency?
So I think to answer the question, I would rephrase it that the first listing when I joined as a sales agent, that was in Blacktown, one of my ex-colleague who was always with me in my previous IT job. And then I was telling him that, okay, I want to become a real estate, a salesperson or consultant. And then one day he heard me and they said, why don't you sell my house? So thanks to him and his trust, not many people trust a first-time real estate agent, but he did. And then, we sold that house in 2 weeks for a record price. That was in Blacktown. And then after that, we sold in Downside, another friend, and then slowly we picked up the sales organically.
Excellent. And how has your previous roles helped build the skills that are required for real estate to be successful?
When I started my first job in Australia, when I came from India, we started a customer service role. I worked in a customer service role, so that always helped me to deal with clients and their expectations, and then the timelines and everything. So that did really help me. The next job. So eventually, the client service is in part of me now. So more than a sale, more than money, more than revenue, I always look at the satisfaction. How is my client happy or not? So that's where I get to drive more.
Excellent. And how long did it take to get traction from launch to your first exclusive listing?
As I said, the first listing came through a friend.
Yep.
And then it didn't take much time because by then people already know that Praveen is into property consultation. Praveen is an investor himself, and then he has this property knowledge, etc. So it wasn't a hard part for me. I know, unlike the new real estate agents who are coming into the market now, they need some sort of boost, but then people need to know, who is this guy? How do I trust this guy? And can they sell it? So that was not part, like we didn't have that issue before. Yeah, it was an easy one.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what are some of your key stats from this first year in your own company?
First year, I think we closed up to 60 sales, not just in Scofields.
Yep.
Yeah, and across the northwest.
Yep.
And in Scofields, I think we are holding the highest average sale price, 1.2 million, I think.
It's impressive.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And we got the best ratings as well, I think touching 91%. And we also won the Rising Star Award this year in New South Wales. And yeah, it's a good start. We got the best sales. We got almost 20 suburb records, and then we went into apartments, land, single story, double story. The highest sale we did was around 1.8 million in Marsden Park.
Wow.
And this year we did 2.1 million in Rousel. So yeah, it's good.
And obviously, revenue is king in this industry, but how are you measuring your success outside revenue?
So revenue is always important to any company because we have to pay the bills, we have to run the office. And first year we went more on the marketing. But other than that, to answer your question, yes, it's not the money, it's not the revenue all the time. And we are here to build the relationships, not the money.
Yep.
And then every year we are adding more relationships. More clients means more relation. More sales means more relationships.
Yep.
But it all comes with trust.
Exactly.
And we are doing very well. As I said, 91% approval rating. And,
Massive
and winning
success
a Rising
on
Star
customer
Award.
satisfaction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So winning a Rising Star Award, which is not easy as well. I mean, I was nominated last 2 years as well, but I didn't win. This time we did. So it's, yes, for us, more than a sale, it's always how I'm making a vendor happy, how I'm making a buyer happy. You know, there are a lot of stakeholders in this process. It's just not sales, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you just don't go there and sell it and come out. You have to continue the relationship. You have to be in touch with them. You need to be helping them whenever they need something about the house.
A lot of stakeholder management.
Yes. So yeah, for us it's very important, and we are very happy what we are doing as of now.
Excellent.
We'd like to improve more, but again, that's the best we are so far.
And how are you differentiating yourself from your competitors? What does Praveen Reddy Property do different to others in Schofields and Norwest when it comes to sales?
Well, all agents, all competitors are doing their best job so far. I mean, I don't talk much about my competitors, but at this moment, if you want me to answer the question like, how do I differentiate? I'm a very much locally grown-up person in Schofields,
Yep.
and I know the community very well, and the trust I built over roughly, you're talking around 10 years now, not in the real estate, outside real estate. So people trust me, and we take every sale serious. It's not like we sold 200 properties and we want to say that we are the top agent by number or by volume. But we would like to say that we sold 50, 60, that's fine. But then we got all the 60 relationships with us now.
So more quality rather
More
than
quality.
quantity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. As you see, that's our motto. So quality is the most important thing, but quantity is not.
Yeah.
If it comes, it's okay. But again, we don't want to push or break our rules or ethics or morals in getting more sales. That's okay. If the sale comes to us, that's fine. As long as we are giving our best, more than 100%, and then we are keeping the relationship. That is very important. The vendor should be coming back to us. The buyer need to be feeling confident that they should be buying with us again or selling with us again. So that repeat business, that trust business is very important for us.
And are you seeing many return clients?
We do. We sold a lot of properties 2 times, and buyers becoming sellers, sellers becoming buyers sometimes. It is very common, and that's where we are at the moment. So whenever I go out for a walk or a jog, I can see my clients in Woolworths, Cole, because I live in Schofields, and trust me, I never need to hide my face so far, which is good.
Excellent. And I guess you've been in real estate for touching on 4 years.
Yeah.
How have you seen the market change in that time?
It is. I mean, the area where we are dealing is more more established area, and then half of it is a growing suburb like Box Hill, Marsden Park, and half of the Schofields. So we are seeing a lot of younger families at the age 25 to 35.
Yeah.
That's where the more buyers are coming from, and we see a lot of momentum. What's going on in the property market in line with the wider real estate market. At the same time, Schofields is picking up very well, and the growth wise it's phenomenal. Like last 4 years, not last 4 years, but since the start of COVID, we saw some properties growing in double the value. Yeah, so I think it's the supply versus demand, and it's the choice as well. Like the buyers are looking for more modern houses, more new designs these days, and that's where we are seeing more of those houses built in Marsden Park, Box Hill, Milamba.
Do you see any other trends on the horizon in the next 12 months?
Well, everyone need a bedroom, bathroom downstairs these days. That's a very common thing which we are seeing.
Yep.
And then again the budget.
Multi-generational living.
Multi-generational, yeah. People are working from home, they need study rooms, they need office rooms, the dedicated ones.
Yep.
And growing kids need their own, bed and bath. Yeah, so we are seeing those trends a lot. But again, land is a struggle part here because we're seeing very super lots, like smart lots, like 250, 260, 220,
Yep.
160. So the lots are getting shorter and shorter, and which we don't want to, but again, it's a supply and demand.
And talking of trends, what are the top 3 objections that consistently come up from vendors and buyers?
Well, you're right, like both have their own concerns, especially it's a big decision they're taking in their life, particularly when vendors are selling first time or buyers are buying their first home.
Yep.
And
Very emotional.
Yeah, being a vendor myself at one stage and a buyer myself at one stage, I can see some objections, and vendor pretty much they're spending, like they don't know how much they need to spend in the house.
Yep.
And we can propose, okay, can you paint the house, can you remove the carpet? They say no. Sometimes they say no, sometimes
Yep.
they listen. That's one thing. Second thing is the commissions, like every agent comes up with a different commission model. If you go to a branded company, they'll say 2% plus.
Yep.
Because it's a branded company. If you go to a new agent, they say 1%. But then their question is, okay, that guy is doing that much, why are you asking this much? But they need to trust the agent that they are here to get their best result.
Yeah.
And that's one concern we always discuss with them. I mean, so far we made our progress in convincing them. And then the third one is the price negotiations. Most vendors want the best price. Of course, we need the best price as an agent. But the thing is that how do you convince them? How do you address their concern? We use the data, and we had to work within the fair trading guidelines,
Yep.
what we are advising, what are the nearest comparables in the last 3 months to 6 months. And basically we show them what is the house look like, apple to apple, a nearby street, and then we had to convince them slowly on that part. But again, as a vendor, they have their own objection that, okay, I don't want to sell if it is this price.
Yeah.
But then that's why we do auctions sometimes to get the best result out of it.
So as we reflect on 12 months,
Yeah.
if you could redo one decision from this year, what would it be?
Redo a decision for the last 12 months.
Yeah.
I
What would
think
you
the
change?
work-life balance. Since I started my company, pretty much 90% I'm away from my family. We are more building up the company, building up the brand, helping clients, getting the sales, and then selling them. So that's where I think I should have done better with the balance of not 50-50, at least 70-30 with work and family.
Yep.
Yeah, I would redo that if I go back.
Absolutely. All right, here's an important one. How do you align your vendor expectations with the market?
Good question. I mean, this is pretty much every vendor conversation we go through. And as I said, every vendor need a top price. So we are. But in the end, they need some evidence. So we will be using the data. We'll be comparing apple to apple. We'll sit with them. I normally project all my phone to the TV, the lounge room. I kind of sit with them. I show them, look at the recent sales in this area. Look at the comparison with line to line, house to house, room to room, garage to garage.
Setting realistic expectations.
That's
yeah.
it. I don't need to be sugarcoating numbers to win the listing.
Yeah.
Okay, I can say whatever I want, but in the end, that's not the truth, right? I mean, the truth will come out in 4 weeks' time anyway. I would rather lose my business on the spot,
Yeah.
but I don't want to sugarcoat to win their listing.
No.
But I'll be honest. I'll be showing them the evidence. I'll be giving them the data. We'll look at the recent sales. We'll look at the current listings in the market, how long they are in the market, where they're not selling. And most of the vendors don't know the difference that a suburb is a suburb. But then in suburb, we deal 6 to 7 different pockets.
Yep.
In the same house, if you move one pocket to another pocket, your price is changing.
Yep.
They don't know that.
No,
They think
proximity to school, transport.
Exactly. So they think that a house sold in Schofields in that pocket is same as the house in this pocket. And then that's where the agent comes in, and we will explain them. Your school catchment is different. Your commuting options are different.
Yep.
You are on the main road. You are next to the creek. You are next to the childcare, busy one. You have to do that all sort of education, because vendors are not selling every day. They don't have this knowledge. they are innocent. They just come up with their expectation.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong in it. I mean, they can ask us. We are the only one person who can ask. And our job is to give them the best data,
Yep.
what we have, and best guide within the guidelines.
Yep.
Whether they trust us, give us the listing, it's up to them.
So you would say one of your personal strengths is your authenticity with your vendors and clients?
Well, be honest
Yep.
and be transparent, show the data,
Yep.
and then they have our own records like sales, what we did so far. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of vendors, what advice would you give to first home buyers versus upsizers? So those that are purchasing their first home versus those that have been in the market a while and actually looking to a larger house.
So if it is just an advice to first home buyers, I know they're coming from a rental background and they're coming from apartments, townhouses to buying a house, or maybe first time buying an apartment. Trust the agent.
Yep.
And then do your due diligence. There are a lot of tools these days available online where they're giving you constant information, like up-to-date information.
Yep.
Again, they are only reference point. Never believe them they are 100%. For example, we are selling a house of 1 million and we guided that as 1 million because of our own research. But then the property tools, whatever online, they say 900,000.
Yep.
And then the buyer uses that tool and comes to us and say, Praveen, this is showing 900,000. Why are you asking 1 million?
Yep.
My advice to buyers is use that tool as a reference.
Yep.
But then computers never come into the house and see what is inside the house. Computer doesn't know that there's a solar. Computer doesn't know that the flooring is changed, painting is done.
Yep.
Additional like 40 mm bench tops, high ceiling. They don't know. All the information they have is the land size, bedrooms, bathrooms, and garage.
Yep.
And
Very
then-
generic
very
statistics.
generic.
Yeah.
So use that as a reference point. It's not like a exact number for your purchase. If that is the case, then anyone can sell their home by putting a board outside that this is the computer record, this is what I'm expecting.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We don't need to do the job.
And how do you decide between an auction or a private treaty?
Well, auction, we don't really do many auctions. We only do pretty much private sales. The reason I'll tell you why. Most of the first home buyers coming into this area or maybe a first time upgraders, they don't like auctions much.
Yep.
Either it could be because they never experienced it or they had to pay 10% or it will be an emotional buy in the auction because some agent is going to push you to go 10,000 and suddenly you realize that you bought the house. Mm-hmm. So it's an experience. You need to have that experience in the auctions. So we run the private sales more because we know what buyers are coming into our area.
They're coming in with a cool head. They're making rational decisions.
That's it. They need to take the time. They need to go to their family, check that back, check with the lender, all these questions. In auction, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can prepare well, but again, it is in a rushing moment, right, to take that decision. And I'm not saying that I'm against to auctions.
Yep.
There are times we did auctions. I mean, we just did 5 auctions out of 15 properties we sold, and 5 out of them are successful results. We do auctions in a time where either the property is pretty much unique,
Yep.
or it's very hard to put a price range, or the vendor definitely pushes that, yep, I want to do the auction.
Yep.
I don't want to sell it in private treaty because I love auctions myself. And then vendor has a price expectation, agent has a price expectation, but market is telling differently.
Yep.
The best thing is to leave it in the auction, get the best outcome. You can see the truth on the auction day.
Yep.
So this is how we negotiate with the vendors. How do we need to do auction? Do we need to do private sale? We give our best advice,
Yep.
but in the end, the vendor will take a call when in line with our advice. But that's what we are doing.
No, absolutely. And where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, the vision for the company is definitely grow,
Yep.
but without compromising on the quality or the client satisfaction what we are in today. As I said, we are at the 90% level and we would like to go to 100%. And the goal for that next 2 to 3 years is grow the team, grow the sales, and again we want to see more client satisfaction. I think the metric for the goal or vision is always the client satisfaction, because without that, no matter what, you sell 100, 200 properties, there's no peace. I mean, as I said, you need the satisfaction more than the money.
Yep, no, absolutely. And what are some of the challenges you have with stakeholders as part of the buying and selling process as a real estate agent?
So again, I mean, the good thing with this job and the bad thing with this job is you get to work with a lot of stakeholders. Every day we go through good days and bad days. And stakeholders are part of the deal, whether they're doing small job or big job. The one of the not concern, but challenge is with the conveyancers asking for 10-day cooling off in a private sale. The law says it's 5 days, but most of them ask for 10 days. We don't see any reason behind it. Just because they are busy, they ask for 10 days. And that's where we face a challenge a lot. My request is to them that if it is 5 days, keep it to 5 days. And then we are always happy to extend 2 days, 3 days more if there is a genuine reason. But just because you are busy or you are not available doesn't mean that you can ask for 10 days and vendor is in a suspense for 10 days.
So what are some of the objections that buyers are bringing to you and how are you managing them?
Well, buyer comes with all sort of questions and confusion because either they're buying first time or upgrading. The most of the time we see is around building inspection, because building inspection report and I mean anyone preparing that report, the building inspector in this place, they prepare their report like a report, like yes, no, right, wrong. Okay, they don't put any too much explanation into that. It's our job to make sure that they're educated properly, the buyers. So they get worried with all sort of issues like someone extended their decking, someone has an easement in the property, someone didn't do the painting in the house, or a loose tap here and there. But we have to go through all these questions with the buyers. That's one thing. Second thing is the cooling off period. Again, they don't have the knowledge of 5 days or 10 days. And then the price, obviously that's the one question. So they pick up different prices, different properties in the same suburb, they'll start comparing. But again, it's not the same.
It's never an apples for apples comparison.
Right. The location, your street is different to another street. So these are the most common buyer confusions we see.
Absolutely. So I'm selling my property. I'm looking for agents. What should I be considering before I reach out to an agent, and how should I best approach you?
Well, selling a house is a big decision for anyone. I mean, I sold my properties in the past and with different agents before I became a real estate agent. It is a tough decision to make, to select an agent. My advice is, we all work in computer world these days. The data is there and all you need to spend is 15-20 minutes on your phone. Go to the recent sales, go to the price, go to the comparison, do the comparison properly. Do apple to apple comparison, like what the same house was sold by one agent, same house was sold, like similar house was sold by another agent. Where do you see the difference? And it's not about auction or private treaty, it's about the price. That's where you are looking for, like any vendor. And never think that someone is selling a lot of properties means that he is the agent to go. Because if that guy is so busy selling every day, every weekend, how is he going to spend time on your house? You need an agent who can spend time on your house. You need an agent who can spend time with you in your meetings or with your buyers. So that's where we need. Even if you sell 4 or 5 properties a week, that's enough. You don't need to be looking at an agent who is selling 500 properties, 400 properties. It's not really required, you know what I mean? So the volume-based agent versus a quality-based agent is what you need to select for. For example, we started recently, like we started in March this year, I think, with 2 inspections a day. Normally, if you go to Hills Council area, you only see Saturday inspections. You don't see Sunday inspections. Whereas in Western Sydney, Northwestern Sydney, Saturday, Sunday is very common. Even after that, we started with AM, PM inspections. So same property, we get morning inspection, same property we get afternoon inspection. The reason is most of the buyers coming from different areas, they miss out morning inspection because either their kids have activities on Saturday or they have lunches in the afternoon. So they miss out one or the other session. We got a good team, we got a big team, and we don't have hundreds of properties. We only deal with 4 or 5 every week, and then we spend a lot of time on each properties. The more inspections, the more footprint, the more buyers, the more inquiries, and the more price we get.
The better outcome.
The better outcome. So we spend. That's what you need, an agent who is spending more time on your house again and again, and then getting the property sold in shorter time as well. You need that 2 weeks, 3 weeks result. You don't want to be 4 weeks, just only 5 to 6 inspections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we advise all our vendors. Look at the data. Look at the recent sales.
Yeah. Okay. How do you educate your vendors when they're selling for the first time?
Well, yeah, as I said, selling any house is a big decision because that's one of the biggest asset in your life you are selling. Most of the time we see the question with vendors first time selling is that they live in their house, so they're upgrading to another house, but then they want to keep that house as an investment. Either they are very emotionally connected to that, or it is their first home, or they don't want to sell it because of, there's no reason. We try to address that because and then we see these people coming back in 6 months and 8 months saying that, oh, probably we need to sell this house.
Yep.
This is a very big confusion, challenge, whatever we can say. Our education part is that any owner-occupied house, once you live there, I think you've got 6 months to 1 year grace period. But after that, any growth, any equity increase is subject for CGT liability because you own another house. Okay, so most people think that we can keep this house for some number of years without paying any tax.
Yeah.
My point to them is, until then, the house is tax free, zero. Now you're bringing in a tax office into your house, and then you're keeping it like tax liable. Number 2, you're putting tenants there, and then we don't know how the house will be maintained. 3, you will suddenly change your decision of selling and say, can we sell this house? The tenant is very hard to sell.
Yep.
And then you need to give them notice. These days, the tenant laws are very tough. You can't just tell them with a 1 week notice. It's like 90 days these days.
Yeah.
And then the maintenance, then the repairs, then you go rent street for 4 weeks of marketing and another 6 weeks of settlement. There's a lot involved in that. So it's always good to sell the property if you're not living there, especially if it's an owner-occupied property.
Yep.
Unless there's no real reason, that's a different story. But if you want to invest again, take the money, keep it in your principal house, the new house, reduce your loan, go back to the bank again and start investing, but buy investment as an investment.
Yep.
You don't have to spend money on the luxury items, whereas you might already spend
It's
it.
not an emotional purchase.
That's it, absolutely. But again, I'm not a financial consultant, I'm not a tax accountant, but this is what we go through a lot of discussions with our first-time vendors. Should we sell? Should we hold?
Yep.
So it's one of those questions.
And last question. What advice would you give someone that's starting their career in real estate and wanting to move into it? Well, if you could go back 4 years and advise yourself as you start on your venture into real estate, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, be passionate and give yourself more than 100%. Real estate is not an option for anyone who don't have a job or who wants to start something. Okay,
Yeah.
It has to come from within, passion, and you will lose a lot of family time. So be mindful on that, and don't be part-time. Like, you need to be full-time.
Yeah, be all in.
Yes. Imagine if you're selling a house, your agent need to be available full-time.
Yeah.
So if you put yourself in a vendor's shoes, you know what to do.
Yeah, as a vendor, you want someone
Yes.
passionate.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Always up to date with the information, market trends, and and then be social to know about your clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, Praveen.
Thank you, Kara, for doing this. And it's been a while since we are talking, almost like more than 6 months now.
Yeah.
But now that the opportunity came up, like 1 year anniversary, and
It's a big milestone, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.